What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 490, celebrating 6 years of podcasting alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm well. How are you?
Really good on this Monday evening when we record. And joining us today, special guest host, you've heard him on Tags Live before, Teddy Alexis. How you doing, Teddy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Really good. Cody has the night off, and we thank you for filling in. And this is kind of exciting, too, because we're in 3 different cities. We're talking Massachusetts, Los Angeles, and New York City. So we're representing, which is really cool. So let's get into it. Okay, well, so much to talk about. One of the things I wanted to mention, though, is Cody over the weekend went to O'Shea Sibley's memorial on Christopher Street, which made its way to the piers. And he wanted everyone to know that it was a celebration of O'Shea's life. There was voguing, a candlelight vigil, and they lit lanterns. I'll post the pictures up on our Instagram that they lifted up to the sky. And he said it was, a really beautiful memorial to a very sad, everybody now knows what happened to O'Shea Sibley, just, murdered horribly in a gas station for simply voguing in a gas station with his friends. And I'm really glad that Cody was able to go to that memorial yesterday. Okay, well, we've got to get into it here. Adam Lambert just blasted TROLLS, calling them miserable, targeting his partners, also saying it was obnoxious homophobia. Adam Lambert has eviscerated the obnoxious homophobia of trolls who targeted his boyfriend over photos of the couple enjoying a night out in LA. I'll post it in our conversation so you can see the photos. You can look for yourselves. But essentially, his boyfriend, Adam, is 41. His boyfriend is 28. Glisse, as Oliver Glisse, who's 28. He works in the fashion industry. He was dressed to kill in a monochrome assembly of stars and stripes, denim shorts, a sheer black vest, and silver nail polish. He accessorized with silver jewelry and shimmery green eyeshadow. I thought they looked really cute, but sadly, a lot of the trolls came out and were questioning his gender, questioning Glisse's outfit, mocking his sexuality and gender identity. And I love the fact that Adam actually, called it out, saying ignorance plaguing people. He said things like he called on the homophobic trolls, like I said, grow up and challenge yourself to explore tolerance. Ollie and I had a fun night out, the Queen frontman wrote. Lifts my spirits to see support in the comments, but appalled to see such obnoxious homophobia and ignorance. It just surprises me a little bit because, I'm not surprised by trolls, Jeremy, these days, but it's the nature of it. I think if it was Anthony Porowski and his fiance walking around, given the nature, they're always given like thirst trap photos on all the sites that I go to. But if you show a little bit of diversity or a little bit of flamboyance, you're called out. I mean, what do you think of all this?
I think it's like very pathetic and sad. And I think that they look like they're having fun, and it really doesn't matter what they're wearing.
Exactly. And I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, you, Teddy, what do you think about Adam standing up for his man like that and calling out the trolls?
I would stand out for him. This is a gorgeous man. These are a bunch of haters that haven't got laid in a long time. You see, everybody, if you haven't had a good time with a femtop, you don't know what you're missing, okay? So I think this is why he's defending his man. He had a really good time, and they look gorgeous. And who cares what your gender is? People need time to be together. Shut up, everybody. Haters.
Exactly. I hope they keep going out and posting photos because I think they look really good together, I think. And so I just think they complement each other. So I want to see more of it. And yes, I totally agree with both of you on this. Also, calling out homophobia, Shea Coulee actually threw iced coffee at racist
Oh,
homophobes to defend herself. This happened last week when Shea Coulee took to X, you guys know Twitter, of course, to share a horrifying situation that she experienced just outside of a Starbucks store. And she's won RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 5. She wrote, "Today, a man harassed 3 teenage girls, calling them whores outside of Starbucks. I immediately told him that he was inappropriate and to not speak to young women that way. He called me the F word and the N word, so I threw my full iced Americano in his face." And Jeremy, I have to stop. It almost reminds me of throwing that pie
Yes.
in that woman's face, Anita Bryant's face.
yeah.
Yes.
In a subsequent post, Coulee brought up another man who inserted himself in the situation, essentially. Wrote, "Then," and this sounds like you, Jeremy, "then some crusty old white dude told me that my reaction was uncalled for, even though he sat there the entire time while this man harassed these other girls and myself," Coulee explained. She added, "Firstly, as a white person, never tell a black person how to respond to being called the N-word." Coulee continued this series of posts writing, "And second, he's lucky I didn't have a second iced Americano because he would have been covered in espresso too." Jeremy, just what do you think of that? Because
I love it, and I think it's hilarious, and they all deserve the coffee all over themselves.
I mean, pretty bold moves, Teddy. But I mean, they always say never mess with a drag queen, right?
Never mess with a drag queen. I need Starbucks they wanted to do some reparations. They need to be giving Kool-Aid a bunch of free coffee. As a fresh Americano? Are you kidding me? That's like $7 right there.
Thank
No.
you. I know. She should have walked back in and got her coffee for free after all that. You're
Reimbursed
right.
for at least a month. That's what I say.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we've been talking about this country singer who's been making the rounds with his current song, current songs, Dixon Dallas. I actually like the song, and I don't even really like country music that much. He refuses to disclose his sexuality after the song, which is gay themed, Good Looking, went viral. If you're not familiar with Dixon Dallas, we've talked about him on the show, but he's really you might not know him, Teddy, if you've been studying, but he's been in the media lately. His alter ego of performer Jake Hill. And while Hill had some success as an emo rapper, which is interesting, right? He did rap, now he's doing country. He toured in small venues. Now he's back with catchy songs all about gay sex, and they've gone viral. Good Looking talks about riding my boosie. I don't know a more. I mean, it's pretty infectious, and he talks about I think some of the other lyrics are keep singing another song about gay sex. Keep riding me, he says. He spreads my cheeks and he makes me scream. He's my number one daddy. Gotta make him cream inside of me. Just keep riding me. But on a recent interview for Out.com, he actually loves that people have been praising him and saying how it's helped them come out and just talk openly about it. But he hasn't actually said whether or not he's straight, gay. He just says, I could be any one of those. I mean, do you think he is gay, Jeremy, after writing this kind of song? Or do you think and does he need to disclose his sexuality?
I think he's definitely gay, but I don't think he needs to disclose anything for anyone.
I agree. I mean, Teddy, it's almost like with these lyrics, I mean, you pretty much are gay. And do you even need to say that you're gay at this point?
If you know the word boosie.
Correct. Yes.
Right? I actually like the way he thinks. If you indulge me in a story, when I was on undergrad, I remember there was this guy from Holland doing a postdoc. And, this is in Puerto Rico. So Latinos like to joke about like people being gay. And I remember like people will like call him gay, and he will like not even understand what the insult was. So I think the kids now these days are just like, hey, I just want to exit. I don't do y'all's boxes. So don't be asking me while I get my ass fucked by a huge dick if I'm gay or not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I
But
love that.
the answer is yes, he's gay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was quoted as saying, of course, you'll have people saying I'm gay baiting and queer baiting, but growing up in the South, you're taught how to think a certain way. He said, I just reached a point where I started to think for myself. My music is a big fuck you to my past. No, I haven't disclosed my sexuality, he said. I could be gay, I could be straight, I could be bi. At the end of the day, I feel like it doesn't matter. And I like that. I think it doesn't really matter, but keep putting out music like this because, I mean, and it's funny because they showed it playing in some straight venues, and a lot of straight people, I don't think they're really listening to the lyrics.
No, they don't know
And
what a
they're
pussy
doing the two
is.
step or
Yeah.
whatever kind of country line dance that they're doing. And I think it's hilarious. So the joke's on them. But keep on doing your thing, Dixon. We're here for it. Okay, well, this is crazy because LGBTQ advocates are suing Texas over the state's drag ban. No performer should ever be thrown in jail because the government disfavors their speech, and we are asking the court to block this affront to every Texan's constitutional rights. So what they're actually saying in this is that the way it's worded in the law that would be enacted in September says that it leaves it up for interpretation of sexuality. So somebody could deem a drag performance sexual in nature by maybe a gyration that they may have done. And drag queens, I mean, they are always having fun, and it doesn't mean that it's sexual, but I think the way it's worded right now is that it's left up to interpretation. And so that's why they're suing the state. And I hope they get somewhere because this is crazy. I mean, Teddy, when you hear this, I mean, do you think they have a case in this? And how far, I mean, what are your thoughts?
To be honest, having lived in Texas for almost 10 years, and I worked at the school district where you could not be out as a gay person because they could fire you. I'm not surprised by anything that Texas is doing. I know everybody in the coasts are like, "Oh, how crazy!" No, that's how we live there. So, um, I don't think anything is gonna come of it because the state is super conservative, and it's scary for the LGBT people that lives there because it's getting more and more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, instead of shipping immigrants over to New York, which is a huge
Hmm.
problem here, like, why are they picking on drag queens? I mean, Jeremy, you've gone to several drag shows in your life and will continue to. I know you will. What do you
Hmm.
think this law that says they're trying to protect children of sexual nature in any of these shows?
I just think it's like distraction from other things that are going on, and I just think it's really idiotic and ridiculous. And I think that all of the kids are plenty safe in attending and being in the presence of drag queens, and they're not the ones that are harming children.
Right. At the end of the day, a drag queen is not destroying a child's life. If anything,
Hmm.
it's opening their minds up to diversity and free expression. I mean,
And if you've seen them in their presence, they're like a spectacle, and they are happy and like happy-go-lucky and outgoing, and kids smile, and I don't know. I just think that it's ridiculous.
right. It's like our LGBTQ version of clowns, which
Hmm.
should be happy. Hey, Cody, ready for Puerto Vallarta this fall?
Oh, yes. October 29th to November 5th for the 2023 Vacaya Mexico Resort Vacation in Puerto Vallarta.
A week-long, all-inclusive vacation with day and evening events, plus just a short ride into town to explore the fun of gay PV.
And don't forget, we'll be celebrating Halloween with a huge costume party. We got our costumes all squared away, and they are fabulous.
They really are. Thank you for that. And how could we forget to mention the Red Light District that will happen every night to get your sexy on? This is going to be so hot.
Wait, plus we'll be doing Tags Live on Wednesday, November 1st on property in front of a live studio audience.
I can't wait. Well, we want you to join us on this fabulous week in PV. You can get up to $200 off your all-inclusive vacation and be a part of the fun. Simply use our code at checkout, TAGS, TAGS. Go to TAGSPodcast.com and look for the link, Vacaya Mexico Resort Vacation.
Don't miss out on all the fun we seriously want to kiki with all of you.
October 29th through November 5th, join us for the 2023 Vacaya Mexico Resort Vacation in PV and get up to $200 off your vacation. Visit TAGSPodcast.com. Click on the link and use our promo code TAGS, TAGS. See you there. Okay, let's totally switch gears here. And this is a good topic for all three of us because I think last time I checked, we're all single. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, Teddy?
Yes.
You're married to your studies right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on a recent thread, gay guys shared the reasons why they're single. And they asked the question, and it actually came out of a study that AARP actually gets sent to you the minute you turn 50. I did not open mine up because I am not admitting that I am old in any way, shape, or form. I don't even want any of the benefits that come with AARP. But in 2018, they found that 57% of gay men over the age of 45 reported being single. Singledom increases with old age as people lose their partners. However, the stats for gay men stuck out as it was higher than the figures for lesbians and bisexuals. That's not surprising to me. It compared it to an older study, a 2017 study conducted by Community Marketing and Insights that found that 69% of millennial gay and bi men are single compared to 54% of millennials. So there was a shift there. The question posed on a recent Reddit thread was, why do you think you're single? And it prompted so many responses. The original poster said he thinks his singledom is down to his crazy work schedule getting in the way of socializing. Okay, Teddy, that sounds like you.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I think I suck at connecting on a deeper, more intimate level with men. But another said it's a mixture of high-ish expectations, anxiety, and bad life habits. Expectations and pickiness were mentioned by many. Somebody else wrote, I have high standards, and so do the guys I date, with a crying emoji. And lastly, somebody said, I'm shy, an introvert, social anxiety, don't make enough money, hard on myself, low confidence today. Oh, geez. Okay. Why do you think, Jeremy, do you mind being single? Do you think there's a stigma of being single at a certain point? Do you want a relationship? How do you weigh in on this?
I think that right at the moment, I'm content with being single. And I think it's funny when you're surrounded by family or you see family often, they constantly ask about, are you interested? Do you have anyone special? Like mentioning little things like that. And for me, I'm completely content and don't feel the need to check in with anyone, and I'm just enjoying like working on myself and having fun with friends and family, and I'm not in any rush to jump into any sort of relationship. But I think bettering my relationship with myself and also uh, just meeting new people as friends before any sort of love interest.
I like that. In many ways, I feel exactly the same way. The one thing that's interesting is you moved back to Massachusetts where your family, many friends that you grew up with, you're of an age right now where a lot of your female friends I know are all getting married, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where that question could come up a lot. We're contrasted with myself. I mean, my father passed away in 2012, so my mom's a widow. My sister has been divorced for several years. They're like my core, we call ourselves the three amigos. And so I don't get that question a lot. I also don't see my relatives a lot. So I don't thank goodness I don't get that question very much. But it's Teddy. One of the persons said in this interview, having been single the vast majority of my adult life, I'm quite comfortable actually being single and don't feel I need a relationship to live relatively happy. So my motivations to find someone for said relationships are pretty low. It's going to take somebody pretty fucking special to make me want to welcome them into and change my life. Does that statement at all resonate with you, or are you seriously looking always for a relationship?
Oh my goodness.
Loaded
First,
questions
I
here.
know. This topic started wrong with a study of AARP said.
Thank you. I told you.
However, it takes a long time. I'm gonna just talk about me. For me, it just takes so much time and so much effort to, get a relationship going that I personally, last year I was really trying. I did like the official Tinder and serious dates, no hookups, etc. And oh my god, I don't have time when I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I need a lesson to get done and I'm looking at the clock. I only have 1 hour. I don't have time. But yeah, good luck to those blessed with a boyfriend. I also have the privilege of living in a big city where there's not a lack of companionship or activities to do. So yeah, I'm like Jeremy. My plate is full, baby.
It's so funny that you said last year you tried Tinder, and I
Hmm.
helped a female friend of mine last week get her
Uh-huh.
Hinge profile app
Oh.
together, and she wanted me to write it for her, so I did. And actually, it's by the way, it's really fun writing it for your female friends or filling out somebody else's profile for them. Of course,
Exactly, not yours. Yours is so
right.
annoying.
There's so no pressure for it, but it's kind of a lot of fun because you kind of feel like an agent, and putting them
Exactly.
like out for go-sees and model, like, okay, here's what we're going to do here. So I had a lot of fun doing it, but I said, how's it going? It's been about a week. And she said, you really, this time around, I'm making time out of my day every day. She's very busy,
Hmm.
corporate job. However, she's taking a little bit of time every day to check her messages. And I think that's that you have to do if you're going that route, the route of, looking for on the apps. But I've known people before that go on dates all the time, and you also have to schedule those. And again, it's a lot of time. To the comment of the guy that said, he's just so busy, there's a guy that I have connected with. He lives in Long Island, but I see him a lot at the Eagle. He's a wedding planner, though. And so he really we've been talking about going on a hike, and because he really likes hiking. So do I. That would be a great date, especially totally different from the Eagle, right? Something outdoors. And so we have not been able to find the time, even connecting on the times when we'll meet at the Eagle, because sometimes he'll come over after. But it's even hard to do that sometimes. He's
Yeah.
went on Friday. Well, I wasn't available on Friday. I went on Saturday. It's like even getting that together is not the easiest thing. So I do give a lot of people credit for finding somebody and keeping it, lasting, but it's not the easiest thing. So, and there is something to be said about, if it comes around, great, but I'm just trying to better myself and work on myself and meet cool people and connect, I think is really nice. So,
Question for you.
yes.
Um, so you said you were your friend's agent, right?
Yeah,
So what
right.
does
Air
the
quotes.
10%? What does the 10% look like when she finds a man? I'm curious.
What does a job?
A job?
They have to have a job, or like, what do they actually look like?
No, because they have to
No,
give
a
you
finder's
10%.
fee.
Yeah,
I see what you're asking me.
it's a joke.
You better
I
be
like-
part of the wedding party,
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
or at least invited on the Bachelorette.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, I'm going to perfect my skills here. Good question, though. I like that. Switching gears to sex, and a recent thread where guys were recounting wild hookups that felt like a scene out of an adult film. A recent thread asked the question, users real life porn like sexual experiences, and a lot of people actually had them. This is the one I thought of you, Jeremy, because quote, I was working, not you, but I know you have like this nude model or this
Oh,
go-go dancer that
Mm-hmm.
was in a nude drawing here in New York recently. And they wrote, I was working as a nude model for a community life drawing group. A male couple in the class approached me on my break and asked if I wanted to come over to their apartment afterward. I did and ended up having a threesome with them. That reminded me of you because you wanted us to go to
Yeah, the drink and draw of that guy.
of this go-go dancer. Can you say the name of his on this show? Do you even know his
Yeah,
name?
of course. I think it's Beefy Dork on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
Beefy Dork. I like that. Okay, check him out.
Oh, Beefy Dork 21, but his first name is Sam.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't find that this is that shocking or surprising. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com of all of the crazy experiences that people had. I think being gay, we watch a lot of porn. I think what's interesting about this story is that to me, I think a lot of gay guys have like really hot encounters that, okay, like I said, maybe they don't have the stepfather coming in, walking into their room and the bad dialogue, but you've had some pretty good encounters over the years, Jeremy. Do you watch porn and do you like emulate a lot of the things you see in porn? Or is that just totally a separate life and you just have more vanilla sex when you get together?
No, I think I do try and emulate certain things, but I don't like try to act like a porn star, if that makes sense. So I'm not like being filmed or being watched. That's not something that I'm fond of. And I try to make it organic and do it if it feels right with the person and also seems like something that I would do, not pretending to be someone else or be like a porn star that I'm obviously not.
I hear you. Yeah, exactly. So you kind of keep it separate from what you actually do. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny though, because I'll go to the Eagle and have fun sexual encounters there. And it's a cruise bar for all intents and purposes. And so it can seem like a porn film at times, which is a lot of fun. I've had fun in the sauna at various gyms before at a certain time, which there was the risk that somebody could come in. But I think in general, you know, I've tried a lot of my fetishes with a lot of hookups, so I guess it could seem like a porn film. But I don't know, Teddy. Do you approach your hookups with from an adult film mentality?
Not really, but I do have my quarantine buddy and I. We hang out so much during the lockdown because the lockdown here was like 27 years.
Right.
Um,
Felt
and
like.
yeah, and I one time just randomly we just started acting out like we were porn stars, but because we were both actors, we're just acting really bad, and we just find it so funny. And we're just like, oh no, my mom is away. We're alone in this room. And we're just doing that. And then it just turned into like a fun night of just doing that while also hooking up. So that's the one thing that I've done. But yeah, I'm like you. I cannot leave out my fantasy, so I don't have to do that.
I like that. Yes, I like that. All right. We want to hear from you too, and let us know how you weigh in on that topic. Do you approach a lot of your sexual encounters like a porn film? Let us know. Weigh in. We'll read some of these on one of our next episodes. Okay. Well, two gay celebrities were recently in the news, different articles actually, and it struck me. Wilson Cruz was one of them, and Cheyenne Jackson. You asked what they have in common. Well, in separate interviews, Wilson Cruz said fellow gay students saved me from bullies in high school. Quote, I don't even know what it was like to not be bullied, he told Variety. I was called fag every day. It got to the point where I didn't even hear it anymore. I went to high school in the late 80s and early 90s before there were gay straight alliances, saying that instead he relied on his best friends to help him get through it. The only way I got through school was with my best friends. The other four gay kids I knew at school, I know because I had them in my life, that I had a sounding board, and that there was someone who could reflect back on my own experiences and make me feel like I was not normal. They saved my life. We saved each other's life. In a separate article, Cheyenne Jackson shared what happened to him when he went to his high school reunion, when he bumped into his former bully at the reunion. And he said, you know, like many gay men, he says high school years hold some painful memories. He experienced bullying and had the F word scrawled on his locker, actually. He wasn't going to go to his 30th high school reunion. He posted on Instagram, high school was a confusing, painful, awkward time for me. Over the years, I've conflated the experience in my mind. He actually did go and met up with the guy that bullied him, and they had a nice walk, and the guy apologized to him, and Cheyenne accepted it. He said, I'm so proud to be a poor kid from the backwoods of Northwest, and these were my stories. For me personally, it's interesting. High school, I wasn't bullied at all, but it was more grade school that people called me, you know, sissy and all these other things that still had an impact on me, but it wasn't high school for me. But I know that a lot of us, if you don't deal with past issues, they can come up in various ways. And so, Jeremy, were you ever bullied or made fun of in high school or at any time in your life that you can recall?
I was a little bit, but I really never let it like get me down. And I also just like always would turn it back on guys that would ask like, are you gay? And I'd be like, why do you want to know? Do you want to go out on a date and stuff like that?
Sassy.
So I kind of like found a way to overcome it. And it, when you don't let a bully get to you, they almost like give up because of the fact that they're not getting a rise out of you. So that really worked to my benefit. And I mean, I didn't really love high school years, and they were confusing for me too. And I changed schools and had like different groups of friends that didn't really mesh. So, I mean, I stayed in touch with the people that I care to see, but I wouldn't go to reunions just because anyone that I want to see, I already spend time with outside of that. And I don't really feel the need to go back in time.
They could read about you on Instagram. But the question for you, though, Jeremy, do you, when, you know, because the movie industry seems obsessed with coming of age films and high school films and that era, it's just always churning out movies. Can you watch movies like that? Do you enjoy movies of the high school years, or does it sort of bring up, well, my years weren't all that great?
No, I can definitely watch them. I don't associate it with my own. I feel like everyone has their own experience, and where you grow up is different, and the type of people that you're around. And I think I did make the most of it. It wasn't like traumatizing. It's just not my favorite years of being in school.
I think for a lot of gay men as well. Teddy, I know you mentioned earlier that you grew up in Puerto Rico and maybe some different beliefs about being gay when you were growing up. What was your experience, or any, if in terms of bullying?
Yeah, I did get bullied, but I only got bullied when I moved to middle school. Like the first year was really tough. It's just because you just have to develop like a little bit of like, you know, handle yourself and kind of defend yourself. I feel like in elementary school, all the teachers are really making sure that everybody's well behaved and blah blah blah. But then middle school is kind of like, you're grown now. But then after that, when I was in high school, I remember I had like a bunch of people over, and one of the guys that will hang out with us, and I always had like weird feelings for him because like he had like a weird energy. I never knew what. He page. Do you remember the pagers? The
Oh yeah,
he
PA
page.
speaker. Yeah,
Yeah, you might have to put an explanation on the podcast what that is. But
yeah. I wonder
uh,
how they do it now, but yeah.
yeah, so basically a text. He paged one of our friends, and I happened to have his pager because I was reading some messages or whatever. And I remember he said, "Don't go to Teddy's. It's a total birdcage there." And I was like, then I realized, oh my
It's an
god,
old school reference of the movie or
yeah.
Birdcage. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god. Like all the gays are over and everybody feels safe here, and I just felt like that was like such a compliment. And then I was like, we're not inviting that asshole here. But yeah, everybody has a different experience, but bullying always exists, and you just have to, confront your bullies because a bully is just somebody super insecure. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I think that was what was so cool to read about Cheyenne Jackson actually choosing to go back and look at him now. I'm sure a lot of them, in fact, I think the bully and many of them they knew all his work. And so it's like, if they could see me now, right? But he went back. So I commend him for that. But yeah, others, I don't really have care to go back to reunions or anything like that. It's like I kind of live in the now, and it was a fine time for me, but it wasn't like the greatest either. And I don't know.
Mhm.
And it's like it's 4 years of your life, people. I mean, it's like it's not, but it's like pivotal moments, I guess, for a lot of people. So. Okay, well, so much fun. And I just had to shout out to my old stomping ground, San Francisco, because the Up Your Alley fair was just this past weekend. And apparently, the fair returned to just about normal. And this is the Fetish Festival that is a lot like Folsom Street Fair. You went to that one, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
But think of Up Your Alley is in an alleyway and a little bit dirtier and a little bit naughtier. A lot more goes on. Well, it returned to normal after more than 3 years of the COVID pandemic with sunny skies, large crowds. People were strutting in their leather and kink. Or nothing at all, actually. They had all kinds of games, entertainment, and it looks like it's going to be a good Folsom Street Fair, which will happen on September 24th. Well, I'm really happy to hear that because it does really seem this year with concerts and events, things seem to be back to normal, and that just makes me happy because, like you said, Teddy, it seemed like 27 years, right, of lockdown. So, yeah. I want to thank my co-host. I want to thank Teddy. You can follow Teddy at Teddy Alexis, right, on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Follow him there. Follow Jeremy on Instagram at J. Ross Lopez. And Jeremy's going away to Italy, correct?
Yes.
What part of Italy are you going to?
I'm going to Sicily, so Taormina
Oh,
half the time, and then a small town in Sicily for the other half.
well, follow Jeremy at J. Ross Lopez to see all the food and it's just going to be amazing. So wear your sunscreen, please. Yes, and we are live on Wednesday with Tags Live. Cody will be back. I'm at IAM_Steve V. Thanks, guys. So much fun.
Always fun.
And in
Thank
the
you for having me.
absolutely. In the meantime, continue having hot,
Not
gay
gay.
Yay.
sex. Yes.